Tenemos desde Turin a Giovanni Gamba, que nos va a hablar de un nuevo centro, un nuevo vivero que han puesto en marcha para conservación y certificación de plantas de castaño. Es un grupo, este grupo que os estoy comentando, al que pertenece Giovanni Gamba, es un grupo muy activo en castaño en Italia. Ya hemos tenido presencia de algunos de sus miembros, como Alberto Alma, hace unos años aquí en Castanea, así que estamos encantados de que nos muestren todos sus avances, que como veréis son muchos. Whenever you want, Giovanni, we are ready.
Okay, thank you. Buenos días a todos. Good morning to all. My name is Giovanni Gamba and I am a PhD student from the University of Torino, Department of Agricultural, Forestry and Food Sciences. Today I will go to talk to you about a new certification center for chestnut, which quite a new thing on chestnut and which is a very important step for the chestnut nursery sector and for the chestnut cultivation in general. As I said, I am a PhD student and I collaborate with the research group of Professor Gabriele, and with this research group we work mainly on chestnut. Our research is focusing on chestnut cultivation at 360 degrees. So from an agronomical point of view and from a genetic point of view, so all the aspects concerning the chestnut cultivation. We do our research activities both at the department structures in Torino and at the Research and Development Chestnut Center of Piemonte, which is a chestnut research and development center that was born with the aim to support the chestnut sector of the region and of Italy in general. So today, before starting with the certification aspects of the chestnut nursery material, I would like to rapidly introduce what is the center and what do we do at the center in terms of research and experimentation. Maybe some of you already know about us, about the center and the activities carried out at the center, but I will do a rapid introduction. So, the center is located in Piemonte region, in the northwest part of Italy. It was founded in 2005 and instituted by a regional law in 2009 with the aim of supporting and improving the chestnut cultivation and the chestnut sector. It was established, in fact, by Regione Piemonte, University of Torino and Community Mountains. At the center we have a really large Castanea germplasm repository, which is an orchard of about 5 hectares, in which they are grown up to 150 Castanea cultivars and 6 different chestnut species. So we have Japanese chestnut, Chinese chestnut, American chestnut, and this orchard is very important for us to perform our experimentations and observations, and moreover is important because here we can store a lot of cultivar, most of which have genetic tests, so they are genetically identified and have a certain variety that is genetically identified. So it is very important also as a collection of germplasm. Then at the center we work on nursery techniques and especially on propagation techniques for rootstocks. We have developed in the last 10 years a propagation method through cutting to produce on a rootstock, and the aim is to propagate then our local and valuable cultivars such as the marrone type varieties, the aim is to propagate these cultivars on new and innovative rootstocks, such as this clonal rootstock, in order to improve, of course, the cultivation. But we also have attention on traditional chestnut plantation, because on one hand we want to support and improve a modern chestnut cultivation with a modern management and modern agronomical practices. But on the other hand, we also want to support the existing traditional plantations, because they have a huge importance in terms of ecosystem services, of historical services, and so on. So we want to support both types of chestnut cultivation in our region and in the Italian regions where chestnut is grown. Then we have also colleagues that work on genetics. We offer a service of identification of chestnut cultivars through the use of molecular markers such as simple sequence beads. And we also we also study resistance to pest and disease from a genetic point of view in order to find genotypes that could be resistant to some new emerging problems such as pneumococci or Trichomonas purpurus. And then we do studies on grafting compatibility, which is my PhD project matter. Indeed, I studied the phenomenon of grafting compatibility between different combinations of chestnut, and it is very important to find one or more methods that could help us in recognizing early this problem in order to support the breeding sector that is very active in the last years and is selecting new genotypes, new interesting genotypes, but we don't know the compatibility levels that these genotypes, that could be rootstocks or cultivars, have with our local cultivars. So have instruments that could early predict this agronomic problem would be very important for the chestnut sector. But to fully support the chestnut sector and the chestnut cultivation, beside all the agronomic and cultivation aspects, the center wanted also to improve the certification aspects of chestnut nursery material, which are not well defined at all in Italy. Indeed, the production of certified nursery plant material is a reality well established for most of the fruit species, especially for the major fruit species, such as stone fruits or palm fruits. But on chestnut, there's nothing concerning the certification of nursery materials. So, beside all the agronomic and cultivation aspects, the Research and Development Chestnut Center also wanted to support the certification aspect in order to have certificated material that has a lot of positive aspects than on the cultivation of chestnut that we will see together. So for that reason, the center asked to be recognized by the Ministry of Agriculture, the Italian Ministry of Agriculture, as a center for the conservation, for the premiumization, and for the premiumization of Italian chestnut cultivars. And indeed, it was recognized at the end of 2020 as a center for conservation, for quantification, and so on. These are of the certification that we will see together in a few minutes. So before seeing the steps that are necessary to produce certified materials, I want just to say something about the the standards that are present at European and national and Italian speaking for the production of the fruit trees and of nursery materials. At European level, we have basically two compulsory standards: the phytosanitary requirements, which are recognized by the plant passport, and the CAC, also called Conformitas Agraria Comunitatis. These are the only two compulsory standards, the only two compulsory rules that are required for the production of nurseries plant material. Then we have voluntary standards. We have the certified European standard, which is the one for which the Centro was recognized at the end of 2020. And then we have another step, which is an extra certification of nursery material, which is the voluntary national certification, for which the Centro has asked demand, and so the demand is ongoing for to be recognized also as a voluntary national certification center. So we have two compulsory standards, two compulsory rules, which set the minimum requirements for the nursery production and marketing and commercialization. And then we have voluntary steps that are extra qualification steps to qualify, to also increase value to the nursery material. These are the centers that were recognized by the Ministry of Agriculture Italy as center for the conservation of the multiplication. As we can see, they are spread throughout the peninsula, and they were built for example, apples, pears, berries, apricots. So for the, as we said before, major fruits. While for minor fruits like chestnut, there were nothing. So is it important, the certification for chestnut? Is it important to have a certified material? Yes, of course it's very important, because in Italy we have over 230 cultivars which are recorded in the National Register of Fruit Varieties. So we have a huge amount of cultivars, and so it is difficult, and sometimes mistakes can happen at the nursery level. So maybe trees can be confused, cultivar can be confused. So have a certification process and have the certified materials would allow an improvement in the fruit quality production, because there will be there for the certification there are phytosanitary analysis. It would improve the traceability of the supply chain because of this genetic certification that has to be done for the European certification standard, and then it would improve also possibility to trace the origin of the plant because of the certification level that we can see in this slide. So these are examples of certification levels in European plant passports, which are also described the types of material on the basis of their level of certification. So it is an additional information which gives value to the material and to the final plant. So the center was recognized as a center for the conservation of the pre-multiplication and for the pre-multiplication on tree-based materials. So the first two steps were recognized for the center. This is the full process that leads to the production of certified materials, certified trees. And it goes through different steps, different production steps that are carried out in different structures, and that brings the production of different types of material. So starting from the first production step, the conservation for the pre-multiplication, it works like that. The center for the conservation for the pre-multiplication is a center meant for storing chestnut material, chestnut trees that have been tested from a genetically point of view, so with a certain variety identified, and that are genetically tested for the main chestnut disease that we can see in the table in the top right of the screen. So this is the first step of the production of certified material, and this step happens inside the Center for Conservation for the Pre-multiplication, which is normally a greenhouse with a double layer and insect nets and insulated floor in order to avoid problems with, for example, the entrance of insects and so on. Here, the chestnut cultivars, once they are tested from a genetically point of view for the identification of the cultivar and for the disease, they are grown inside the greenhouses in pots. We have 30-liter pots with, of course, sterilized grow media. As I was saying, in top right table, you can see the disease that are checked for each cultivar that ask for the certification. So we see that for fungi we have, of course, Piemonte parasitica, Mycosperella ambriformis, and the two species of Phytophthora that are responsible for the disease. And then we have one virus, which is the chestnut mosaic virus, which is tested using as a tree test the Maraval CA74. Sorry. Because the Maraval is a very good tree and show very good the symptoms of the virus. And in the bottom right, sorry, I have a bit of cough. In the bottom right image, you can see the results of this analysis. So we sent to the center for the analysis different cultivars, and they sent back to us the results, and everything was negative for this for the connector of the virus. This is always the first step in the conservation center for identification. This is the genetic analysis for the identifications of the variety. Here we have some pictures with the double insect greenhouse, the double insect nets, and then we have the pots, the 30-liter pots, and the irrigation systems. The second step is the pre-multiplication step, which is carried on in the center for the pre-multiplication. This center don't have to be inside or in greenhouses, but can be also in have to be in open field. The only limit is that this field is at least 1 kilometer away from other chestnut trees in the case of chestnut, or other species in the case of other species. In this center, the pre-base material that was grown in the first center that we saw before in the greenhouse is grafted, and the trees are grown in order to produce chion. So this is an open field where trees are grafted with pre-basic material, and once the graft takes, and when the tree is starting to grow, from this we will get the chions that will be chions certified. So in the picture, at the right side of the slide, you can see the sector A, where there is a screen house, and the first step of certification is carried on. So where we grow Avances pre-basis mother plant, then the pre-basis scions are moved to the sector B2 where they are grafted and where trees will be then scions certified. The follow steps, the first and fourth steps, are normally carried out at the nursery level. So nursery have to ask for the certification to multiplicate certified material, and then once you get the certification, you can produce certified trees. Here we can see, for example, certified chestnut trees, and these certified chestnut trees, of course, will be useful for new plantations, for the production of certified trees, and also not only certified trees but also certified scions could be useful in the renewal of the orchards when grafting copses. So at present, this is the list of cultivars that we have already certified. As you can see, they are not only Italian cultivars, but we have also hybrid cultivar as Portuguese cultivar like Tubia, and French cultivar like Marsol and Marron de Luchon. So the work going to increase this number of certified trees. So I hope I was clear in the explanation. Is a quite complicated matter, but to conclude, we can say that the modern chestnut cultivation, whether intensive or traditional, needs same operating standard as the multiple crops to be competitive, as we said before. Chestnut growing sector could finally rely on certified trees from a phytosanitary point of view and from a genetic point of view. And lastly, this certification from the Minister of Agriculture is a great incentive to keep improving the chestnut sector, which in the last year is attracting considerably growing attention. So the possibility to have a certified material is a really important step in this way, in the renewal of the certification. Last thing, we have a magazine that is published each 3 months. If you want, you can of course subscribe and receive it by email. Here we publish our state of art of the research and our last works and so on. So it would be great if you subscribe. And thank you for your attention. And if you have any question, I will be happy to answer.
Thanks, Giovanni, for your presentation. Do you have 2 extra minutes for questions, please? Okay. Bueno, pues preguntas entonces. One small question. Do you have any native cultivar resistant to Chestnut nuevo? Le estoy preguntando si tiene alguna variedad local, alguna variedad nativa de Italia ha encontrado que tenga resistencia a la espina.
Actually, no. We've been working in the last year creating an hybrid between Bishop and an Italian variety in order to find one or more genotypes that would be resistant. But at present, we do not have a particular variety which is recognized as resistant to gall wasp. But I also want to say that For Piedmont region, for Piemonte region, the gall wasp is not a big problem anymore because it was the first region where the biological control took place. So at present, the balance between Torino sinensis and Dracosmus is quite stable. So it's not a major problem anymore.
Okay, thank you. Bueno, lo que ha dicho es que no tiene ninguna variedad resistente, pero que lleva un control biológico con Torimus desde hace mucho tiempo y que el problema de la avispilla, que en la región donde trabajo, que es el Piemonte, que está solucionado, es un problema menor.
The question I try to be simple. You make test for chestnut mosaic virus.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And I understand that all these plants are negative for this test. Is correct?
Yeah.
You don't have varieties that are positive for this virus? Traditional varieties in Italy? Or maybe
Tests on the virus are not carried out by us as a center, but we send the material to a certified center for this kind of analysis. And as regards the virus on the varieties that we have already certified, they were all negative, though we saw some symptoms around chestnut orchards around the region. So we guess that this virus could be a bit spread in our chestnut orchards, though maybe from here to here with not the same intensity. I mean, maybe one year tree could be symptomatic and maybe one year could hide the symptoms.
okay.
And but as regards our variety, we didn't find positive results. Though we could observe it in other chestnut areas.
Okay. Thank you.
Bueno, es algo muy específico, ¿no? Le preguntaba porque una de las condiciones para la certificación pues es que el virus de mosaico dé negativo, ¿no? Y es realmente complicado porque, por ejemplo, en Galicia y aquí, pues las variedades en general son positivas para este virus, pero son asintomáticas. Es un poco lo que él estaba contando, que trabaja más con la asintomatía de este virus, que puede estar presente y expandido, pero que las variedades, muchas de ellas son asintomáticas, ¿no? Era un poco, bueno, una cuestión concreta para preguntar, nada más. Pues ya me quedo porque... Gracias. Thank you, Giovanni.
Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you for sharing your expertise and all your knowledge.
Thank you for the possibility to talk at the Castanea. And I'm sorry for the cough that was a bit annoying, but
Don't worry.
I hope it's not COVID.
No problem. I wish we can see you next time in Ponferrada.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you.